Welcome to the weekly update of Israel and Christians Today. It is Friday the 2nd of May. This week has been a very special week in Israel and for the Jewish people. At 8 p.m. on the 29th of April, a siren pierced the air across Israel. This siren was not a warning about incoming missiles, but it marked the beginning of Yom HaZikaron, Israel's memorial day for the fallen soldiers and victims of terror, a day that is celebrated annually in Israel. The following day, 30th of April, the Jerusalem torchlighting ceremony that traditionally marks the start of Yom HaTzmaut, Independence Day, and the end of Yom HaZikaron, was cancelled due to a massive blaze in the nearby hills and strong winds. This was a major catastrophe and disaster in Israel. This year, Israel is celebrating its 77th Independence Day since its establishment as a Jewish state in May 1948. And this week, with these 2 days, the day of memorial for fallen soldiers and victims of terror and Independence Day, is always a week of deep mixed emotions. And especially at the moment when the country continues to grieve for those who have fallen on and since the 7th of October 2023, and for those who are still at the forefront of fighting, both in the south against Hamas in the Gaza Strip, but also in the north against Hezbollah. And let's not forget what is happening in Syria. These are all days of great concern, but also for the hostages who remain in captivity. At the same time, there is deep joy and thankfulness for the existence of the State of Israel as a safe haven for the Jewish people, and a growing sense in Israel of the importance of the existence of Israel as a place where the Jewish people can live and protect themselves from growing anti-Semitism around the world. Now, it's in that light strange that all the while the nation of Israel is being increasingly condemned for its very existence in the United Nations and in the international courts. This week, the International Court of Justice in The Hague is hearing arguments and evidence from about 50 UN member states who condemn it for terminating its relations with UNRWA, the UN Refugee Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UN Relief and Works Agency, as it's known, a highly controversial agency established after the War of Independence in 1948. A small number of states, especially Hungary and the United States, have had the courage to call out UNRWA for its ties with Hamas and terrorism, and to defend Israel's right to prioritize its own security over the continued collaboration with UNRWA. The point being that Israel is deeply concerned and objects to UNRWA's deep ties with Hamas. Hamas members have infiltrated UNRWA, and UNRWA cannot be seen as separate from Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Israel is continually on trial in United Nations law courts, especially the ICJ. At the same time, Israel's leaders are being accused of war crimes by the International Criminal Court. The country is accused of committing genocide, both in the ICJ but also in the UN Human Rights Council, and also breaching fundamental humanitarian laws and human rights laws. People of Israel are accused of implementing an apartheid regime. So from all directions, Israel is being attacked as being an illegitimate state, as a Jewish state. It's important to appreciate that all of these accusations are largely driven by the political, ideological, and religious interests of UN member states, a majority of which are hostile towards Israel and the Jewish people. So this week, it's important that we thank God for the return of the Jewish people to the land and continue to pray for Israel and for all the people of Israel, Jews and non-Jews, for resolution of the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, especially an end to the conflict in the Gaza Strip, a deeply troubling and conflicting conflict. It's hard to see, humanly speaking, an easy end to this, but we do pray that the leaders of Israel will have wisdom, leaders of all the parties. Let's pray also for the hostages who remain in captivity in the Gaza Strip. Thank you for listening to this week's weekly update, and wishing you a blessed weekend, and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.